40% of adults over 60 have measurable kidney damage right now. Not minor changes. Real, documented decline in the organs that filter 200 liters of blood every single day. The reason most of them do not know it is simple. The kidneys do not hurt when they are failing. They have no pain receptors. By the time any symptom appears, up to 90% of kidney function can already be gone. That is not a worst-case scenario. That is the documented reality for millions of people in this age group who find out about their kidney disease only after it has already progressed to a serious stage. The kidneys are two of the most underappreciated organs in the body. They regulate blood pressure. They control the balance of electrolytes that keep the heart beating in rhythm. They activate vitamin D. They produce a hormone that tells the bone marrow to make red blood cells. When they start failing, every one of those functions begins to decline simultaneously. And the foods on this list are accelerating that process in millions of people every single day. Before we reach food number 5, there is one item on this list that is specifically marketed to adults over 60 as a tool for healthy aging. It is promoted for muscle preservation. It is sold in health food stores. Doctors recommend it, nutritionists promote it, and in people over 60 with even slightly reduced kidney function, it is accelerating kidney damage at a rate most physicians do not warn their patients about. You will know exactly what it is before this video ends. Food number 1. Processed and cured meats. Bacon, deli turkey, ham, sausage, salami, hot dogs. The damage these foods cause to the kidneys is not primarily from the sodium, though the sodium is a serious problem on its own. The primary threat is phosphate additives. Manufacturers add inorganic phosphate to processed meats as a preservative and flavor enhancer. Unlike the natural phosphate found in whole foods, which the body absorbs at a rate of about 40 to 60%, inorganic phosphate additives are absorbed at nearly 100%. The kidneys are responsible for filtering excess phosphate out of the blood. In adults over 60, kidney filtration capacity is already reduced by 20 to 30% compared to younger adults. That means the same phosphate load that a 30-year-old processes easily becomes a sustained burden on older kidneys. A study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed over 14,000 adults and found that those who consumed processed meat 4 or more times per week had a significantly higher rate of chronic kidney disease progression compared to those who avoided it. The phosphate burden was the primary driver of the association, separate from sodium content. When phosphate builds up in the blood faster than the kidneys can clear it, it begins to deposit in blood vessel walls throughout the body. It calcifies soft tissue. It accelerates vascular aging in the vessels that supply the kidneys themselves. The kidneys are damaged by the very substance they are trying to remove. Therefore, processed meat is not simply a heart health concern for adults over 60. It is a direct kidney threat. And the food at number 2 is one that almost everyone in this age group consumes without thinking twice. Food number 2, dark cola drinks. Not soda in general, specifically dark colas. Cola drinks contain phosphoric acid, an additive that gives them their sharp flavor and helps preserve carbonation. Phosphoric acid is a direct source of inorganic phosphate, with the same near-complete absorption rate as the additives in processed meats. A study published in the journal Epidemiology followed over 900 adults and found that people who drank 2 or more colas per day had twice the risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who drank less than 1 per day. Week. The risk was specific to dark colas. Clear carbonated drinks showed no comparable association. The phosphoric acid was the distinguishing variable, but the risk is not limited to heavy cola drinkers. Even regular moderate consumption, 2 to 3 colas per week, over years, creates a cumulative phosphate burden that strains the filtration capacity of aging kidneys. After 60, the margin for error in the kidney system is significantly narrower than it was before. What the body managed at 40 without consequence begins to accumulate damage at 60. Food number 3, canned soups and high-sodium packaged foods. A single can of commercial soup often contains between 800 and 1,200 milligrams of sodium. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams per day for adults over 60. One bowl of soup, and you have consumed most of the daily limit before you have eaten anything else. The connection between sodium and kidney damage operates through blood pressure. High sodium intake forces the body to retain water to dilute the sodium concentration in the blood. Blood volume increases. Blood pressure rises. Chronically elevated blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney disease in the United States, directly behind diabetes. The pressure damages the small blood vessels inside the kidney that supply the filtering units called nephrons. Once nephron damage accumulates, it does not reverse. A study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology found that adults who consumed the highest amounts of dietary sodium had kidney function declining at twice the rate of those with the lowest sodium intake. The study followed participants for over 11 years. The damage was invisible on standard kidney function tests until it was already substantial. The problem is compounded by the fact that packaged and processed foods account for over 70% of the sodium in the average American diet. It is not the salt shaker at the dinner table. It is the sodium already inside the food before it reaches the kitchen. Bread, cereal, condiments, frozen meals, and canned goods are all significant sodium sources that most people do not account for. Therefore, the sodium content in packaged foods is not just a blood pressure number. It is a kidney timeline that is advancing silently with every meal. Food number 4, white bread, white rice, and refined carbohydrates. The mechanism here is blood sugar. Refined carbohydrates cause rapid spikes in blood glucose. Chronically elevated blood sugar damages the kidneys through a process called glycation. Glucose molecules attach to proteins inside the kidney's filtering structures and make them stiff and less functional over time. This is the same mechanism by which diabetes causes kidney disease. But you do not have to be diabetic for this process to be happening. A study published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases found that adults with even mildly elevated fasting blood sugar, levels that would not qualify as diabetic or even pre-diabetic by standard definitions, showed measurably accelerated kidney function decline over a 10-year period compared to those with completely normal blood sugar. After 60, insulin sensitivity is naturally reduced. The same portion of white rice or white bread that a 40-year-old processes with minimal glucose spike will produce a larger and more prolonged spike in an older adult. Every spike adds to the cumulative glycation load on the kidney's filtering structures. And because this process is silent and painless, it proceeds unchecked for years. Food number 5, excessive animal protein. This is the food that millions of adults over 60 are consuming in increasing amounts, specifically because they have been told it is good for their health. High-protein diets are promoted for muscle preservation after 50. Protein supplements are sold at every pharmacy and health food store. Trainers and nutritionists routinely recommend increasing protein intake to prevent muscle loss with age. The advice is not wrong for muscle, but it comes with a kidney cost that is almost never mentioned. When you eat protein, the body breaks it down into amino acids and then into waste products including urea, creatinine, and uric acid. The kidneys are responsible for filtering all of these out of the blood. A high-protein diet creates a chronically elevated filtration demand. Over time, this increased demand causes a process called glomerular hypertension. That means elevated pressure inside the kidney's filtering units. That pressure damages their structure progressively and permanently. A study from Harvard Medical School followed over 1,000 adults over 11 years and found that higher animal protein intake was independently associated with significantly faster kidney function decline in adults who had any degree of existing kidney impairment. The key phrase is any degree, because 40% of adults over 60 have some measurable impairment, most of them without knowing it. The majority of people following high-protein diets in this age group are increasing filtration pressure on kidneys that are already working below full capacity. Plant protein from beans, lentils, and tofu does not carry the same risk. The waste products generated by animal protein metabolism are substantially more demanding on the kidney filtration system than those from plant sources. If you are consuming large amounts of chicken, beef, fish, or protein powder every single day, your kidneys are paying the price of your muscle-building strategy in ways that will not show up on a standard blood test until the damage is already significant. Food number 6, artificially sweetened drinks. Diet sodas, sugar-free energy drinks, flavored water with artificial sweeteners. These are consumed heavily in this age group as a replacement for sugary drinks, often on medical advice. But a long-term study published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed over 1,600 women for 11 years and found that those who drank 2 or more artificially sweetened drinks per day experienced a 30% faster decline in kidney function compared to those who drank none. The mechanism is not fully understood, but the current leading hypothesis involves the impact of artificial sweeteners on gut bacteria. The alteration of gut microbiome composition then disrupts metabolic signaling pathways that affect kidney filtration efficiency. A secondary mechanism involves the acidity of these beverages. Even without sugar, the acidic pH of artificially sweetened drinks creates a mild but chronic acid load that the kidneys must buffer and neutralize, adding to their daily workload. The point is not that one diet soda will damage your kidneys. It is that consistent daily consumption over years, in a system already operating at reduced capacity, creates a sustained and measurable burden. The 30% faster decline observed over 11 years translates to years of lost kidney function that most people in this age group cannot afford to give up. Food number 7. Alcohol. Even moderate alcohol consumption has a direct impact on kidney function after 60 that most people do not understand. Alcohol is a diuretic. It suppresses the hormone that signals the kidneys to retain water, causing them to produce more urine than normal. The body becomes dehydrated. The kidneys respond by concentrating urine more intensely. That concentration process increases the workload on the filtering structures and raises the level of waste products in the blood between the point of consumption and the point of clearance. But the kidney damage from alcohol extends well beyond simple dehydration. Alcohol raises blood pressure directly. It disrupts the electrolyte balance that the kidneys carefully regulate. And the primary metabolic byproduct of alcohol breakdown is a compound called acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is directly toxic to kidney cells at the concentrations produced by regular drinking. The kidneys are simultaneously trying to filter the alcohol out of the blood and being damaged by the substance they are filtering. A study published in the journal Alcohol and Alcoholism found that adults over 60 who consumed more than 14 drinks per week had kidney function declining at a rate significantly faster than those who abstained or drank occasionally. After 60, the liver processes alcohol more slowly than it did at 40. That means alcohol remains in circulation longer after each drink. The toxic exposure to the kidneys is more sustained with each glass than it was at any earlier point in life. 2 or more of the 7 foods on this list are in almost every kitchen in the country right now. Tonight, open your refrigerator and your pantry and check 3 things. Check the sodium content of one canned item. Check whether any of the drinks in your home are dark colas or artificially sweetened, and look at how much processed meat you have bought this week. Those 3 observations will tell you more about your kidney health trajectory than your last annual blood test, because by the time kidney damage shows up on standard labs, the window for early intervention is already closing.